Here's an explanation of wiring an electrical interlock auxiliary switch. This explanation covers the components, wiring, and theory of operation. The components we're discussing include a Cutler hammer 200 amps disconnect fused to 125 amps, a CHD S200TK2, auxiliary contact which is 202NC, and an elevator remote unit, or ERU, operating on 120 volts DC. Now let's discuss the wiring on the line side, which is 480 volts. Firstly, connect the 480 volts feeder lines to the input terminals of the disconnect. Secondly, connect the normally open, or no, contacts of the auxiliary switch to the output terminals of the disconnect. Now, let's examine the load side, which is 120 volts DC. Firstly, connect the 120 volts DC power source from the elevator controller to the input terminals of the ERU. Secondly, connect the normally closed, or NC, contacts of the auxiliary switch to the output terminals of the ERU. Understanding the theory of operation is crucial. When the main power is on at 480 volts, the normally open, or no, contacts of the auxiliary switch are closed, allowing power to flow to the ERU. In this state, the ERU remains inactive. However, when the main power is lost, the normally open, or no, contacts of the auxiliary switch open, disconnecting power to the ERU. Simultaneously, the normally closed, or NC, contacts of the auxiliary switch close, completing the circuit between the 120 volts DC power source and the ERU. This action triggers the ERU to call the elevator down to the lobby and open the doors. The key to understanding the compatibility between the 480 volts feeder and the 120 volts DC unit lies in their electrical isolation. This isolation is achieved through the disconnect and the auxiliary switch. The normally open, or no, contacts of the auxiliary switch are responsible for handling the 480 volts current, while the normally closed, or NC, contacts handle the 120 volts DC current. This arrangement effectively prevents the DC unit from being exposed to the high voltage on the feeder side, ensuring safe and reliable operation. Always ensure electrical work is performed by qualified electricians.